Welcome to the Red Couch, Cristina Jaeger. I just learned that you're in Bali. How exciting is that?
Yes. Yeah, very exciting. Thank you so much. I'm just starting my digital nomad life.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of being an entrepreneur, that you can work from anywhere, but you can also work all the time.
That's what I'm doing, yes,
Which you
but
might
it's
have,
fun.
which you might have already, you know, gotten into.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Christina, tell us a fun fact about yourself.
Well, I think I swallowed a fly. A fun fact about myself, um, maybe that I got into weight training. I'm not sure if that's relevant or irrelevant,
Uh-huh.
but when you compare it with investing, then it's about discipline, having a long-term approach, having a growth mindset by learning something that you don't know about, right? You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
learn it and get better at it.
yeah.
And at times it's frustrating if you can't increase, or then your knee hurts, whatever. But yeah, since 1.5 years, I'm doing weight training and it feels good. I haven't been sick since, or not as sick as before since
I
then.
think it's a really smart move to do that right now. Yeah.
I heard, especially for women, right? It's so important to have
Hmm.
like the muscle.
Yeah. And especially when you were working in the corporate world, you were probably already, sitting on a desk for 10 to 12 hours every day. Your body is yearning for a change. Yeah.
So
Good.
true. And
Great
actually,
stuff.
your stamina even increases.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big believer in yoga, but I also always say, it took me three times. I started it three times already, and the third time, finally, I stuck with it.
Ah, so cool. That's a big thing here in Bali. Yeah.
It's probably also because I have a really great teacher.
Nice.
So, like you also need to have somebody who's getting you, I think.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, Christina, tell us a bit more about your backstory. I understood you had an international career, and I'm sure you also have a few interesting expat stories to tell us. And now you started your own business as well, that you had launched already earlier. So, can you tell us a bit more about why that topic, financial freedom, especially for women, is so important to you?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So basically, I started my career in Switzerland, the land of finances and wealth management, for UBS, biggest Swiss wealth manager, and really like at the heart of Switzerland, Zurich, financial center. So, millionaires where we manage generational wealth over
Yeah.
decades we're walking in. And actually, now looking back, it's crazy to have these insights as a young professional. I was studying macroeconomics and finances in Germany, always doing already internships abroad in Luxembourg, Singapore. And then got stuck in Switzerland, which makes so much sense for a finance career. And then after a few years, I always say I was working with the millionaires of Europe, right? We were taking care of the wealth of millionaires living, for example, in Germany, and then having banked their assets in Switzerland.
Hmm.
UBS then came and said, "Hey, Christina, after working with these millionaires in Europe, how would you like it to maybe go to Hong Kong and work with billionaires?" And then, I mean, what would you have done? It's like the amazing opportunity, right? To say, "Yeah, sure."
Hmm.
And it's quite interesting because I worked there then for 5 years and to see the wealth generation in Asia so different than like Central Europe, where
Uh-huh.
we spoke maybe like when I was a client advisor, I spoke sometimes to the third generation or having also several generations on the table to discuss.
Uh-huh.
And then in Hong Kong, like especially from mainland China, right? It's sometimes billionaires, first generation, they just made that money and they had nothing to do with money and wealth. So, and you have to be very diplomatic there. So, wealth creation was newer. Discussions about structuring that wealth were completely different. So, that was quite interesting. And if I think back, not sure if you have been in Hong Kong, but you have like the very big International Finance Center on Hong Kong Island with all the skyscrapers. We were in the 50th floor.
Hmm.
And now I was thinking, wow, these billionaires, they walk in, you have like marble floors, you have
Hmm.
probably tables that are more expensive than my salary, right? Art on the wall. And then you hear in and guide these clients and family offices, families in their structures of wealth. And back then, of course, I appreciated and I loved my job always. I was also very happy always at UBS. But now looking back, it's actually crazy, these insights. So for me, it's all about bringing now these insights into very simple, actionable, hands-on tools to empower women with their finances. Because what I learned working for charities actually in Hong Kong, for example, one is super cool, has a name, Girls Just Want to Have fun name. I learned about these wealth gaps, and it's shocking. The wealth gaps are massive, really massive. In Switzerland, it's the same, like lifetime earning gaps of women are almost 50%. You have huge salaries gap, pension gaps of 45%
Yeah.
from women versus men. And to learn about that, and then sitting during the day in this world of like the really wealthy was crazy. And then I loved always hosting like women events, brunches. I had such a great community, but just because it was my hobby, I love hanging out with women that have a growth mindset, have this expat life. And then in their 30s, they were asking like, hey, Christina, what do we do now with our money? You're in finance. You must be able to tell us. And I said, hey, ladies, it's going to be a bit difficult to share this over a glass of Prosecco, at one of our brunches. So they pushed and pushed. And one day I said, okay, let's figure out maybe 4 evenings, always on a Tuesday, and let's meet and I will prepare the content. And I remember when we started actually with the first group, that was not a planned thing to become an entrepreneur. I never wanted to become an entrepreneur. I was happy in corporate, right? International finance career was amazing. And then I remember exactly the moment where, so they were sitting on my couch. Hong Kong flats are super small, huh?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I
yeah.
was really fortunate. My ex-partner was earning very well. We had a nice flat, so there were like 7, 8 women. And maybe in the third evening, I was like standing there, seeing them talking. And this is where I felt for the first time, oh my God, we have something going on, because they were suddenly growing confident, talking about money,
Yeah.
asking questions. And then they went out and they came back with experiences. Oh, I spoke to my boss or about finances, or I finally mentioned this to my parents, or hey, I checked this and now I made a decision. And they felt so confident. So it had a really big impact in their life, not only the knowledge, but more about like the confident, feeling secure about their financial future. We started to invest their pensions, find like a strategy for it. And this was, yeah, they then spread the word. So I had to do another group, and this is how it always evolved. Yeah. And it was amazing to see what effect it can have on women's lives. That's how I got into it.
Do you also work with Women 101 or is it only group programs? Can you tell a bit
Yeah.
more about how you actually work?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
really interested in, because I'm really interested in the topic as a coach, but
Ah,
also
yeah.
because a lot of my clients, they also struggle with
Yeah.
the finances. So I'm interested in how you actually work with them.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. So, look, I really try to be, let's say, a partner or the place. We try to be the safe space for
Uh-huh.
women across all, let's say, life cycles or life stages. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, for example, we start with the free WhatsApp community because
yeah,
we
yeah.
really want to give on Instagram socials, we share bite-sized learning nuggets. And then in the WhatsApp community, we want to give a space. Okay, can you ask questions? Maybe participate in a challenge or a webinar that we are hosting. We do so much for free to just unlock this like black box, right? Because we women, UBS did an amazing study saying women are heavily involved in the short-term financial decisions of the household. Yeah, which car do we buy? Where do we go on holiday? How much do we spend on groceries? But they don't think when it's about the long-term impact of their financial decisions or the family financial
Mm,
decisions. And
mm,
then only if something happens, usually close
mhm,
to retirement, death, divorce, something bad, usually, then they're like, oh, I should have. Then it's too
mm,
late, right? So
mhm,
I try to open that door on all stages, on all platforms, forums where I can do a lot for free to break this. Maybe, I could participate. We host events, like it's all about networking also, to open that door that they can enter easily, make it not
mm,
difficult. And then, of course, we have the next stages like an academy where you can learn at your own pace, but we also work, or I work one-on-one with clients, which is our, let's say, premium offering. There you have then not only the community and not only the content, but also I sit down, I understand your generational wealth with you, maybe of your parents, talk a lot about inheritances, then your wealth. Usually my clients also have worked in more than one country, so it's about the pension situation, the tax situation, asset allocation, of course. Maybe they bring their partners on. Maybe we start investing for the kids. So I really want to I really try to include the holistic view. They
Yeah.
have real estate, maybe they have
Yeah.
different currencies. And I feel like they struggle a bit usually with either you have, let's say, one expert for tax for this country or one real estate broker for that. Like it's all very specialized, but no one is
Oh,
by their
yeah.
side. Yeah,
I
no one is
know.
by their side across like all the topics.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert in all of these topics, but like, I can guide them, okay, which questions to ask, what to consider. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I don't know if you were aware, but I come from a global mobility background. So
Ah,
we very often have these questions about, all of our clients are expats. We often have
okay.
these questions about, several countries and tax structures, pension issues, especially people moving from one local contract to another local contract. It's one of the reasons why we actually started with the Red Couch Talk is to educate more
Cool.
people about global mobility, but also I wanted to give more women in global mobility visibility. Because again, women also in our field, even though we massively, we are basically, we're standing on the pillars of women, this industry, but still, most of the leadership positions are dominated by males. So yeah, so
Wow.
we thought about like 3 years ago, we thought about what can we do to give women a bit more visibility in our industry, and that's how it all started. In the
That's
meantime,
so
we're
cool.
open to all genders, though. I've opened the podcast to everybody.
That
Well,
makes sense. That makes sense. Like we launched a podcast 2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
One of my first guests was actually my dad. He's also our equity expert.
Oh,
He
cute.
made like in 15 years, 400%. So now I'm like trying
Yeah,
to get him share his insights and
yeah,
his ways how to handle it. Um, and there we also have men. Yeah. But in the
yeah,
community, I'm getting asked this question a lot because men have the same questions, right? It's
yeah,
just they are socialized to maybe dare to ask a bit more.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's another element that you can probably relate to, even though I think you're maybe 10 years younger than me. But when I was younger and I started to invest and have conversations with wealth managers, also with bankers,
Yeah.
I very often felt like they were not taking me seriously. And I also have an economic background, and I mean, it just sometimes I felt a little bit depreciated, if you know what I mean. So
Underestimated, maybe
my
also.
life completely changed, and I'm still with the same bank when the bank that I work with now as an entrepreneur suddenly, changed my team to be a full female team. So, my
Wow.
private advisor, my corporate advisor, they're both women. And
That's so
since
cool.
then, everything is so much easier. Yeah. And now I even swapped my auditor to be a woman.
Nice.
I don't know what it is, but it just sometimes, you don't want to deal with the mansplaining anymore in your 50s. So,
Thanks for sharing because there are actually studies
yeah.
that prove that women receive worse advice from their financial advisors than
Uh-huh.
men.
Uh, yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. We we have been burned, my mom and I. So,
Wow.
but I'm not going to talk about that on this
Mm.
podcast. So we need to come back to something that you said about your podcast, Bold. I love the title, by the way. And I was wondering if you were related to that guest with the name Jaeger.
Yes.
But then I thought maybe, yeah, Jaeger is quite a common German name, so not make any assumptions. But I watched another interview, and I wanted to come back to that topic because I have a bit of the same feeling at the moment.
Mhm.
You asked your guest whether she thought that the corporate world currently pushes a lot of moms and women into entrepreneurship. So, what is your view on this?
Mhm. Thanks. I love that.
I loved your comment there.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, and I wanted to share another anecdote on your last statement that you made,
Yeah.
because of like the bankers, right? So I literally this week I had a, let's say, check-in call with a former client. And she grew, like she's a CEO, ex-CEO of a Swiss company with multi-million revenue. So really senior now in boards, really smart. Just by saying she felt a lot of shame around the personal finance topic. So we worked together. And now she told me, you will laugh so hard. She's like, Christina, and now I asked my banker if he is investing and what he is investing. My client that didn't invest
Yeah,
now sits with the banker and asks them if they invest. And you know what was the response? No.
we don't have enough money.
Honestly, he said no. And then my client lectured him on
Yeah,
how important it is to invest. And he was young. So, like, yeah, sorry, that story just came in
that's
my
very
head when
funny.
you, that's so funny. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
By
I
the way,
think
this sometimes happens to me too. Like,
really,
and I always find it very cute when my clients tell me something like, "Oh, and then I told her what you told me, and then I told her to do X, Y, Z, and now they're doing that." And I said, "Well, yeah, good. Spread
good,
the
no?
word."
This is how women are. I feel like when women learn something that
Yeah,
enriches their lives, they suddenly spread it into their
yeah,
community.
yeah,
Yeah. I think there's like a 40% higher referral quote also of women instead of men. When they like a service or a product, they will refer it to their friends. So they
yeah,
always think communal. I really
yeah.
like that.
That's true.
Mm.
I'm also keen on hearing a bit more about your you work in an organization that brings women on boards. Is that correct?
I'm a member of Women for the Board.
Yeah,
And actually, that client I just mentioned, she's also a member there.
yeah.
Well, I'm a community member. She's a really active member. And it's an amazing community in Zurich or in Switzerland, let's say. And they have now 650 members. It's like
Hmm.
women with really, good education, good positions. And now they are ready for board positions.
Uh-huh.
And it's first of all a network, but then second of all also how do you say Vermittlung, like a matching
Placement
between,
agency.
yeah, maybe a bit less formal, but that's
Hmm.
the purpose of that community to
Hmm.
have like placements of their CVs into open
Hmm.
positions
Hmm.
and kind of match them or share these. I mean, the group is also engaging itself when they then hear about an open position, they would share it on their community platform. It's really, really cool. They have also events in Zurich.
Now,
Very cool.
Christina, normally I ask at this stage if you have a tip for a younger version of yourself.
Okay, sorry. I'm also owe you an answer of like the whole entrepreneurial. I mean, you asked the question if women are maybe pushed out of the workforce, especially moms. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
There are numbers now coming from the US that say that there is women going out of the workforce at a ratio as high as ever.
Yep.
And I feel like because I experienced this a bit in my last position in the bank, how women were treated and I mean every one of us has these kind of examples in corporate. I can understand if they try to go the self-employed route, which is not easier, but maybe less politics, less rechtfertigen, less like proving yourself. We always say men are hired based on their potential,
Hmm.
and women are hired based on what they delivered so far. And they first have to prove themselves until they are taken for, like, they are taken seriously.
Hmm.
So imagine the effort you always have to put, right? And I can understand that if the conditions don't improve, I have many men saying into my face, the risk of hiring a woman in their 30s is just too high.
Hmm.
I'm like, wow. And what if she gets pregnant? And what do we do in the meantime? And it's crazy that the risk of having a child, the risk of a couple having a child is only on the shoulder of women. It's crazy, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't
So
make
yeah,
sense
I'm part of
because
many
every
like,
man
yeah.
could be a father too.
And it's mostly two people having a baby, right?
Yeah.
At least. So
Yeah, and also gay couples have children now. So, and you don't even know that they're in a relationship with somebody. So,
yeah.
I don't
Have you
know if that
have
is
you heard
really a good idea. Yeah.
have you heard about the motherhood penalty? In Germany, the motherhood penalty is with a second child, 68%
Uh-huh.
of salary that you either won't make because you take a break, and then when you come back, you don't have the same career opportunities. And
Mm-hmm.
imagine this is now 68 is like the money you're missing, but
Mm-hmm.
calculate the opportunity costs of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy for your retirement, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm part of many entrepreneurs groups, and I can completely understand that women try to create a bit their own world, right?
Yeah. 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 I usually also advise women not to accept part-time roles,
Mm.
especially in Switzerland, because I think it's a total cheat. You know, you
You're
work
right.
like especially 60%. You work like 80 to 90%, but then you have all the pension problems and pension deductions.
Yes.
So I usually say either you work full time and then 80% counts as full time, or you better start your own business because if you want total flexibility, you probably will only get in it if you start your own consulting business, for example. But then
It's
most
very
of
in
most of the women I advise, they're already a bit older, so they
Mhm.
can make that decision. It's not like they're
Mhm.
25 and career starters.
Yeah. There's a calculator in Switzerland. If you, I just made an example case. When you say, okay, you're 30 and you're
Mhm.
earning 100K and you're reducing from 100% to 80%.
Yeah,
Guess what's missing in the pension? It's over a
50,000.
million. Over a million.
Yeah,
Crazy, no?
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like here in Bali, for example, or I'm also partially like, or spending much time in Mexico City, like in these like digital entrepreneur groups.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a new, let's say, creator economy
Uh-huh.
or online community, online entrepreneur community. And they are completely playing by their own rules. They will not stick to these like corporate rules because it's
Yeah.
just not modern anymore.
Yeah. True. Which is, why it's also very attractive for many, especially international professionals or people, who've been around the world, because it gives them also the option to work with, for example, to work from India or from Germany or, from the US for stretched periods, without the confinement of the corporate policies, which, we know why they
Yeah.
are in place. They all have, reason to be there. But I think, as an entrepreneur, you also have a lot more freedom. So coming back to that,
Yeah.
if you were like, to advise a younger version of yourself or a young person today, and maybe a young woman just, entering the workforce, what would you tell her?
Mhm. For sure, my tip would be around money. Yeah. So the most important is that you negotiate your salary well.
Hmm.
There is really nice research from UBS that shows that a 10% difference in salary at the beginning of your career, 10%. In Switzerland, that can be very easily, right? You start with 70,000 instead of 77,000, for example. The European average is 18% salary gap, by the way. So 10% difference in salary at the start of your career leads to a 38% wealth gap upon retirement because you earn continuously less. Women also tend to invest less. They invest in less risky assets. They take career breaks. So in the end, in Switzerland, we speak about millions of difference. In the US, they say a woman not investing costs them around a million US dollar for their lifetime. So I would say negotiate your salary really hard. And if you think you negotiated hard, it's probably just like normal behavior of a normal average man. Um, and then start investing as early as possible. So if you can, as a young mother or a mid-aged mother, it doesn't actually matter. As parents, if you can invest already for your children, even if it's small amount, start early. My niece was born in January. We started investing for her already. So negotiate your salary really, really hard and start investing as early as possible, even if it's a super little amount.
Very good.
Mm.
Great. And now that you're a business owner, digital nomad, I'm pretty sure you do a lot of networking, Christina. Do you have any like favorite way of networking?
I mean, of course, I need to like advertise a bit our network, right? I would say in Switzerland or in Zurich region, let's put it this way, there are so many open-minded, I have to say women because I focus on women, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
usually networks of women, open-minded women that have lived international or just want to connect or want to also learn and grow. They have a super growth mindset,
Uh-huh.
usually rocking their career or even like also having family or having own companies. And I just try to like, yeah, 4 times a year host events where incredible female entrepreneurs can have the stage. And then it's just about networking. And I feel I'm kind of carried a bit by this vibe, I would say, of being surrounded by a community. I mean, we're talking about like on WhatsApp alone, it's 1,000 women, right?
Uh-huh.
By this positive support spirit. It's incredible. So there's a bustling evening, 50 women, and like everyone is trying to connect, support, and it's just such a good vibe. And I'm trying to actually, when I came back from Hong Kong to Zurich 3.5 years ago, so I left for 5 years and came back. And then I participated in every female network that you can imagine. And there are actually many. There are many in Zurich.
I know.
Yeah.
I
And
have
I
a
loved it.
spreadsheet.
Same. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's amazing. But when I left, which was now 8 years ago, to
Yeah.
coming back 3 years ago, it had increased a lot. And I love to see that.
Yeah.
People are so open-minded and curious. And I'm speaking also a lot in these kind of events. I love it.
Fantastic. Great. So you do also one-on-one networking, or is it just mainly hosting? Like,
No, it's I'm saying this with a seufzer, because I think I overdid it a bit. But when I came back, we hosted these kind of events every month. Then you can imagine, right? Because everyone wants to connect. You have every day a lunch, or maybe like every second day an additional coffee date. Then I had a lots of dinners, brunches, and I think I overdid it a bit. And people were always saying, "How do you have the energy?" But for me, it was normal. I loved it. I'm an extrovert, so I gain also energy through that. But now maybe it's my age, or maybe it's I need so much focus now for my business and hold also this
yeah.
space and capacity for my clients
Yeah.
and reorganizing my whole life. So now I realize, wow, it costs you actually quite some energy. And I wish I could build a community wherever I am, but it costs you energy and mental capacity. So, for example, what I realized now in Bali, it's very focused on entrepreneurship. So, I have my mentor here, my business partner is here. We're flying the team in next week for an offsite. So, it's very centered around that.
Uh-huh.
And then when I go to Mexico City, I have my community and I build also this community. But I would say my biggest network and widest reach is in Zurich. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Awesome. So
Mm.
if you think ahead, what's gonna come for you in 2026? Do you have any big events coming up? Anything you wanna tell our audience about? Could also be in Mexico or Bali, I don't know where people are dialing in from. Um, just let us know what's going to be the
Yes.
big thing for 2026.
Hey, different pillars, different big things. But always reach out to me. Like we have a whole team also on WhatsApp. Like you can connect with us wherever. I try to help, however, wherever. If it's about international connections, if it's about exchanging on finances, joining the WhatsApp group, joining events, I'm always happy to, connect and see where I can maybe support. Is it Mexico? I'm in Cape Town in Q1 actually for a few months.
All right.
Yeah, so we're launching the academy that I mentioned, because we realized that, let's say, the absolute premium product of working with me in the one-on-one, it requires obviously quite some, let's say, financial resources and also some time.
Yeah.
So we're trying to create the academy, which is a more like, let's say, self-study and communal approach. So that's very exciting. We're launching that. And then in January, we have a cool networking event in Zurich with a female entrepreneur couple, and also a tax specialist, because we said January, she needs to be on stage for the tax topic. So that is like they already asked me since weeks for the link to register. So yeah, continuously being there for the community, with the community, launching new products, improving the products. We know we always update, okay, taxes for that country, pension for this country. Like there's so much you could do. And yeah, we're trying to create that space and actionable tools and easy access to knowledge for more and more people and countries.
Fantastic. So if you could send us the link, then we can also add it to the show notes for this January event,
Yep,
because
with
yeah,
pleasure.
Zurich is still our major stronghold.
Hmm.
And I wish you all the best for 2026, Christina.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. Same to you.
Speak
And
soon.
yeah, speak soon.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Angie. So cool that you're doing this, really.
Bye bye.
Bye.